Today I'm going to show you a few steps on how to winterize your riding lawnmower. This will help you minimize any problems you may run into when the spring's grass cutting season comes next year. The first thing you want to do is add a fuel stabilizer to the gas tank. This will help prevent moisture from building up in the gas and in the carburetor. Moisture can corrode the inside of the carburetor, which will in return you have to rebuild or replace the carburetor. It will also ruin the gas that's already in it. It can cause a lot of problems. This sta-bil brand fuel stabilizer works pretty good. Just follow the directions on the bottle on how much to add. The next thing we're going to do is to top off the gas tank by making sure the gas tank is completely full. That helps minimize any space in there that can condensate. If it's filled up, it can't condensate. That empty space, you can get condensation on the inside of the tank there when it heats up and cools off, and that can cause a lot of your moisture problems there. This will also help mix up the fuel stabilizer in the gas, so it kind of serves a double purpose. After you've added the fuel stabilizer to the tank and you've topped off the tank, we're going to crank it up and let it run for a couple minutes. That will allow the gas that's treated with the fuel stabilizer to reach the carburetor to prevent any moisture problems there or in the fuel filter. This lawnmower is a gravity-fed fuel system on it. Fuel tank sits under the hood and sits higher than the carburetor. The fuel runs through the line, gravity-fed to the carburetor. There's no fuel pump anywhere. Some lawnmowers have the fuel tank under the seat and it'll have an electric fuel pump on it that feeds the fuel to the engine. On gravity-fed fuel tanks especially, I recommend having a fuel shutoff valve on it. That's this little thing right here. If you have one on your lawnmower, turn it off. That'll prevent from, if you happen to have something to go wrong with the carburetor, if the needle in the seat starts leaking or anything, it'll prevent fuel from leaking into the engine. If you have fuel that leaks into the engine, it'll get in the crankcase mixed with the oil, and if you start the engine up with the crankcase full of gas mixed in with the oil, it will burn the engine up. I recommend having a fuel shutoff valve on any small engine. It just is an extra measure of safety and security on preventing any problems. They're real easy to put on. If you just have a solid line, you just cut it in the middle before the fuel filter and install it and put the clamps on. Putting it in before the fuel filter also allows you to, if you need to change the fuel filter, you can cut the gas off and change the fuel filter. Even if you got a full tank of gas, you ain't got to worry about it all leaking out or making a mess. I have another video with more information about fuel shutoff valves. I will link it in the description below if you want to check that out. It's also a good idea to just make sure the oil is topped off. That way everything in there is got the proper level of oil that it's used to sitting at. That way you don't get no unusual corrosion inside the engine. Just a little extra measure of precaution. After you have everything under the hood squared away, we're going to take our focus to the battery. The battery sitting without it running over time with the extreme cold and all, without any charge being put on it, can make the battery go bad. It can damage the cells in the battery, and the battery can have a parasitic draw on it and run down over time. A way to prevent this is to use a trickle charger or battery tender. I highly recommend these Deltran brand battery tender juniors. It plugs into a regular wall receptacle. It'll come with two different kind of ends. One set of ends will be like alligator clips. You can just clip on the post. The other end will have round bolt holes in it. You can permanently mount it to the battery. And it has quick connect plug. You can plug it up in a matter of seconds. This charger will automatically charge the battery if it starts to drain, and it will keep it topped off. I will link a video in the description below to a video I have on the review of these battery tender juniors. Like I said, I highly recommend them, and I've had lawnmower batteries the last lawnmower battery I had lasted about 7 or 8 years by using this. I use it on my motorcycle too. I keep it on there all winter long. Every spring, that battery's about 7 years old in it now, and every time I go to get on it, it fires right over. I have no problems with it. That video will be linked in the description below. Make sure to check that out. I'll also put a link in the description where you can purchase it on Amazon. So that wraps up my video on the steps you can take to help winterize your riding lawnmower. Like I've said, I do this every year, and I don't have problems with the gas being bad and the carburetor gumming up or the battery being dead. If you like this video, please remember to give it a thumbs up. If you haven't already done so, please subscribe to my channel. Thank you for watching.